Hey everyone, it's the Doom Dog, and it's time for another Doom Dog review. Dalton and I recently finished our co-op playthrough of Final Doom, and it's something of an interesting release, so let's take a look. Released on June 17th, 1996, Final Doom was dated on the day of its release. Duke Nukem was released earlier that year, and it boasted a significantly more advanced engine than Doom did. It was capable of more detailed graphics rendered at higher resolutions and more complex level designs with a level of interactivity that was previously unseen. 5 days after it came out, Quake was released. Being a truly 3D game, it was advanced even beyond what Duke brought to the table. Given how dated it was, it did not receive the widespread praise that Doom 1 and 2 received years earlier. id Software was working on Quake at the time. Who developed Final Doom, I hear you asking? Well, that was a point of controversy at the time. Final Doom features two 32-level megawads, TNT Evolution and the Plutoni Experiment. TNT Evolution was being developed by a group of level designers that banded together to create megawads like this. They called themselves Team TNT, and it was planned as a free release for people to download and play. id Software was impressed with it, however, and they offered to give them a full retail release. The fanbase was less than pleased, as you might imagine. It was a point of controversy for years afterwards. I can't say I blame Team TNT for allowing their campaign to get a retail release. From id Software's perspective, it was definitely a pro-creator move, as the people that created it did make money off of it. I am not here to say who is in the right on this one, though. I do understand both sides of the argument. What about the Plutoni Experiment, though? Well, a couple of level designers named Dario and Milo Casali submitted 4 levels to Team TNT. They submitted some levels to American McGee as well, who was a level designer at id Software at the time. He was so impressed with their work that id asked the brothers to create their own 32-level campaign that wound up becoming the Plutoni Experiment. The entire thing was created by 2 guys. Both would go on to work in the industry, with Dario working at Valve and Milo going on to work at Barking Dog Studios, who would go on to become Rockstar Vancouver and Ubisoft. John Carmack once famously said that story in a game is like story in a porn. It's expected to be there, but it's not important. This philosophy certainly applies to Final Doom. Much like Doom 1 and Doom 2 before it, all you get in these campaigns are the backstories in the manuals and text screens as you progress through the campaign. The story does not matter. For what it's worth, the story to TNT Evolution as follows. The UAC set up a new base on one of Jupiter's moons, and they were experimenting with teleportation technology again. They had a battalion of Marines at the base for protection, and the Marines made quick work of the forces of Hell when the UAC once again opens portals to Hell. One day, a ship meant for carrying more Marines arrives early. Upon further inspection, it turns out to be a spaceship containing the forces of Hell. They overrun the base, and Doom Guy has to stop them once again. The story of the Plutoni Experiment is that the governments of Earth banded together to hatch a plan to try to prevent further demonic invasions. Under new management, the UAC starts researching a quantum accelerator that will close down portals that get opened. They once again set up shop on one of Jupiter's moons and experiment a safe distance from the Earth. A portal opens one day and it is quickly closed. The quantum accelerator works perfectly. 7 more portals open up later, and it closes 6 of them. Before it can close the final one, though, the base becomes overrun. Earth decides to send a bunch of Marines to stop the invasion. Doom Guy is the closest Marine, and he decides that by the time the reinforcements arrive, it will be too late. He vows to stop the demonic forces himself yet again. Beyond that, the campaigns play out exactly like Doom 2 did. You play through 5 or 6 levels and you get a text screen that furthers what little plot is actually there. Unless you play it the way we did. We played through online co-op. We set up online servers using Doom Explorer and we launched the game with the Xandronum source port. While we were able to beat the entire game this way, it did not show any of the screens furthering the game's plot. The plot in these two campaigns is nothing more than an excuse to go kill demons. It barely even exists at all, but that's fine. Doom is not and never has been about story or continuity. It's all about the gameplay and level design. Just pick up your shotgun and start gunning down enemies. That is what this game wants you to do, and it makes sure that nothing gets in between you and doing that. The backstories work fine for what they are, though. Graphically, this looks nicer than the original game would have. As I mentioned, we played through Final Doom and the Xandronum source port, and that source port adds a lot of modern touches, bells, and whistles to the graphics to make them look sharper than they ever have. It adds support for widescreen and high-resolution modes, as well as a bunch of options for lighting, fog, smoothing, and numerous other touches that really make Doom look gorgeous. Having said that, Final Doom is a 1996 game that used an engine from 1993. It wasn't touched up for this release. It looks like Doom 2. As such, it is packed with low-resolution DOS textures and sprites. It looked dated when it was brand new, as games like Duke Nukem were pushing what you could do with sprites further than ever before. It was obviously far less advanced than Quake, which came out 5 days after it. Having said that, there is a certain charm to the look of Doom. You can tell that id Software put a lot of work into crafting these sprites, and they had a knack for great art design. This is true of Doom and Doom 2, and it is true of Final Doom as well. For the most part, Final Doom just looks like more Doom 2, and that's fine. The TNT Evolution campaign, however, does contain some new textures, some of which are animated, and they tried to build more realistic objects within these levels. Some of the level designs for TNT are really cool. Still, how much you like to look at this game depends entirely on how much you like the art design used in Doom 1 and 2. For the Plutoni experiment, all the music is reused from Doom 1 and 2. It is still all of Bobby Prince's excellent work, many of which were basically MIDI versions of hard rock and heavy metal tracks. It's just as good here as it was in Doom 1 and 2, though you might call it a bit disappointing that there was no new composition for this campaign. I love the soundtracks of Doom 1 and 2, but something original would have been nice. Well, we're in luck, because that is exactly what we get with TNT Evolution. The music had 4 composers: Jonathan L. Bisri, Josh Martell, L.A. Sabin, and Tom Mustang. The music, for the most part, is exactly what you expect it to be. It's MIDIs that sound like rock and metal riffs. It's what you expect from Doom, and yes, there's a lot of it based on real-world bands such as Metallica, Judas Priest, Iron Maiden, and yes, when we're talking about inspiration from bands like that, you know the music kicks fucking ass. The sound effects are quite literally exactly the same as they were in Doom and Doom 2. Nothing is added, nothing is changed, nothing is reworked. The monsters and weapon sounds from Doom 1 and Doom 2 are brought straight over to Final Doom, and they are used for a third time. This is one more way in which Final Doom was dated the instant it was released. Sound cards advanced a lot during that time, and we got CD-based audio for more and better sound than ever before. I would not say it is flat out a bad thing, though. The sound design for the original Doom games was really good for a DOS-era game. It made good use of stereo, with you being able to hear monsters to either side of you. Every monster and weapon sounded distinct from each other, and you could instantly tell what monster you were up against and what weapon you were using by sound alone. For their time, the sounds were beefy and powerful too. It's held up well over the years in that regard. You know Doom when you hear it, and its sound effects are iconic for a reason. How does it play then? Well, this is one of the ways in which it was instantly dated the day it was released. The FPS genre had been experimenting with looking up and down, jumping, crouching, and a lot more verticality than Doom had to offer. None of this was present in Final Doom because, of course, it plays exactly like Doom 1 and 2 did. If you played those games, you're going to be right at home. Of course, the modern source ports such as Drandronum do add free look to the game, but it wasn't there at retail. One of the most common complaints about this game when it was brand new was that it added exactly nothing new to the Doom formula. It just felt like more Doom 2. For better or for worse, this is true. It is more Doom 2. This is 2 campaigns worth of Doom 2 and might as well have been released as an expansion pack for that game instead of a full game. There are no new monsters, there are no new weapons, there's no new gameplay features, there's nothing new to this. If your enjoyment of this game is going to largely depend upon how much you like Doom 1 and 2. If you love those games, you'll probably get enjoyment out of this. If you don't, this will not change your mind. This leaves it entirely up to the level design. This game lives and dies by its level design because it offers up damn near nothing else new. How is the level design then? Well, for TNT Evolution, I think the word that best describes it is that it's a mixed bag. It has some levels that are very good, such as Human Barbecue and Dead Zone, that are expertly crafted levels that feel like they could have come from it themselves. Other levels, such as Central Processing, with its ending that goes on way too long, and Shipping Respawning, which has an annoying box maze, are not so great. It is really a mixed bag of quality for this one. The Plutonia Spirit, however, is much better. It is more focused as it is made by only 2 guys, and this really helps the level design stand out. The level design is pretty consistently good throughout. It largely avoids annoying pitfalls like pointless teleporters in TNT and box mazes. It even includes one of the most iconic maps in the history of Doom with the Archvile maze called Haunted. It's a highly unusual level that sticks out because the only enemies in it are Archviles. The end result of all of this is that one campaign is significantly better than the other. The Plutonia Experiment is easily the better campaign as it definitely has superior level design. TNT would often focus on a sense of realism, or as close as you can get given this engine, over fun design, and I do think the design choices cost it. If you do enjoy Doom, though, you will probably get at least something out of both of these campaigns that you enjoy. I will say that these campaigns are very hard. This is for Doom veterans. This is not for first-time players. It will kick your ass repeatedly. It can feel unfair at times as well. The 2 campaigns do something that Doom 1 and 2 didn't do, and that is increase the difficulty in co-op. This game will add monsters for when you're playing with a buddy, and those additions tend to be high-level monsters. For example, the very first level of TNT Evolution has a Cyber Demon on it if you play it in co-op. He is not there if you play it single player. I rather like this. If you have only ever played that single player and never experienced it with a buddy, I would encourage you to do so. As far as replay value goes, it's Doom. The gameplay loop in Doom is one of the best in all of gaming, and that's why it still has a creative community for modders, level designers, and speedrunners to this very day. Finding all the secrets and getting 100% kills will take you multiple attempts. Getting good enough to play on higher difficulties will take you multiple attempts as well. You get a different experience playing it co-op than you do single player, as previously mentioned. There are 64 levels in total here. Final Doom is the kind of thing that will keep you busy for a long time. Final Doom is the kind of game that I can really only recommend to people that are big fans of Doom 1 and 2. If you love those games and you want more Doom, that's exactly what this gives you. If, however, you are not big into Doom, or you do not like the series at all, it is not going to sway you. It's brutally difficult, it's very unforgiving, and it's definitely not for everyone. If you love Doom like I do, though, you will like it. Thank you for watching, everyone. Please like, comment, and subscribe down below. Leave a comment and let us know what you think. Have you played Final Doom? Do you like it? Make sure you ring the bell to get notifications from us and share this video. That would help us out a lot. Talk to you later, everybody. Doomdog out.